get serious about building content sites and building a profitable business online? Welcome to the Niche Website Builders Podcast. We bring you the latest field-tested tips, tricks, and strategies for building a profitable online asset. We interview industry experts, share customer success stories, and reveal our own experiences working on hundreds of sites to inspire and motivate you to make something happen. Let's do this.
Welcome to the Niche Website Builders Podcast. Today we have Jaryd Krause. Now, if you're a long-time listener of the Niche Website Builders Podcast, you might recognize the name. Jaryd was on around this time last year, and in that previous episode, he talked a lot about his background and some of the ideas around his business. For this episode, we only cover his background briefly, and we dive straight into one of his case studies with one of his clients around doubling the business income within 12 months that they bought on Empire Flippers and then relisting it, 18 months, not 12 months. And then we dive into the ideas of how to vet websites to buy, what he's looking for, mainly around the idea of risk in the business. And then we kind of flip that on its head and we look at, from a seller's point of view, how you can help prepare your website for maximum valuation. And again, it comes down to de-risking the business, and he dives into that. We also go on a great tangent about mindset in terms of building your online businesses or online niche sites, the idea of having that long-term mindset, not so much around fear, I need to make this money now, but more so I'm going to make this money over the long term, and not having that huge focus on these numbers and goals that you have within that. And then we dive into maximizing the sales of your own digital products as well. And while this might not be so much for the niche website builders who are focusing mainly on ads and affiliate, this will help a lot of you that have some kind of digital product or are looking to go down a digital product route. And he mentions things about not creating too many products, but actually doubling down on the ones that are working. We look at ways you can increase your average order value and how to do email marketing well. It's obviously a place that a lot of us struggle, and that's learning how to do email marketing properly. And Jaryd breaks that down really, really nicely. So enjoy this episode.
This episode is brought to you by Niche Website Builders, an agency dedicated to helping people just like you build profitable content sites. Niche Website Builders are the hands-off content site marketing agency you always wished existed. It's run by content site marketers for content site marketers, and they help both investors and individuals alike build profitable online properties. They provide a fully outsourced approach to content creation, link building, and done-for-you website builds, the same approach they use on their own six-figure portfolios. For example, their content packages come with a proprietary keyword research process, are written by in-house native English speakers, formatted using templates proven to convert, and uploaded to WordPress with affiliate links added so that all you need to do is hit the publish button. Check them out at nichewebsite.builders/show. That's nichewebsite.builders/show, and fill out the form to get coupon codes for 10% more content or a 10% discount on links with your first order sent right to your inbox.
All right, welcome to the Niche Website Builders Podcast. Today we have someone coming on for their second appearance, Jaryd Krause. Welcome.
Thanks, James. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you. We have, I guess we could say, a couple of mutual friends and acquaintances now. So it's good to be put together and to chat about, I guess, your expertise within buying businesses too. But you were on here, I think it was this time last year, and you covered a lot about your background then. So maybe just give a brief summary of your background, kind of how you got into this, and then we're going to run through a bunch of topics on buying, selling websites.
Yeah, so super brief. Used to be a plumber and loved to travel, wanted to continue to travel, tried to start a couple of online businesses, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, started a content site, a blog, didn't really make much money. And this is like when ads weren't really good revenue back in the day. Tried affiliate sort of stuff and didn't really make much money. Then I was like, well, I'll just e-commerce business, you can make more money with an e-commerce business. So I started one of those and had no idea what digital marketing was. So didn't really make much money with that thing either. And then I thought, all right, this is really hard. Like maybe I can go away and buy one of these. And then I came across a stat that 90% of startups fail. And I thought, well, maybe I definitely should buy one that's past that 90% failure rate. And then so I taught myself to buy one on Flipper, bought one, and then I bought another, and then another. And then on my traveling, my trips, people would be like, hang on, like, how are you doing this? And I saw there was a need for people wanting to learn it, how to buy an online business. And that's when I started my business, buying online businesses. Yeah.
Perfect. So I want to start actually with your case study. I know we mentioned this
Okay.
before we started this.
Yeah,
This was going to be at the end, but it makes sense since you mentioned about buying and selling websites. Your case study recently, I think you mentioned you bought it on Empire Flippers and then you listed it back 12 months later, having essentially doubled its revenue. Do you want to maybe run through some of the processes of, let's start with maybe how you identified the website to buy, what you were looking for, and then maybe we'll run into the actual processes of growing it.
Yeah, so this was a membership business, and one big thing that we wanted to do is like see how many active members there were within the membership, like actively paying members. What was their churn rate? How are they getting people in? How regularly? If a site like this is doing advertising, what's their cost per acquisition? How much it costs to acquire the customer? Also, what is their CLTV? Customer lifetime value, and knowing that will help you to know if it's scalable. This business didn't actually do any digital paid ads, media buying, and bought it on Empire Flippers.
Was a membership website something you were specifically looking for that, or was that just ticked the boxes?
So this wasn't my business. I didn't buy this business. This is one of the clients, and I think he was looking at a few different types of businesses, and his name's Kyle. So it's episode 170 on the podcast, on our podcast, on the Bob podcast, and sorry, is it 18 months? He had it for 18 months, and he made 150K, around 150K flipping the site. Let me just pull up the file to see how much we bought it for. It was around the 100K range,
Yeah.
and then selling it for around the 200K range, and then the money that was made in the middle. So yeah, and through due diligence, obviously, coming back to your previous question, needing to check out like single source dependency on traffic, where's the traffic coming from, and all that sort of stuff too. Was there any other questions within that?
Yeah, just more so, kind of maybe a little more detail, like kind of what you're looking for when you're kind of vetting that site to buy, and then we can dive into the growth of the site.
Yeah. So what we're looking for is healthy length of time people are staying within the membership, and yeah, finding out if their cost per acquisition is lower than their customer lifetime value. Finding out what risks are involved with the business in terms of the traffic coming to the business. Is the traffic stable? Is it regularly bringing people into the business? If it was a membership that had like only, say, 10 people or 30 people in the membership, and it was a higher paid product or item, and 5 people left, you're going to lose like a big chunk of your revenue as well. So we're really just looking for risks, and every risk is going to be dependent on each business. So I'd love to be able to dig into what those risks are, but every time somebody sends a business over for us to review, it's like, well, the risks are a bit different. It's common for different types of businesses.
Yeah.
But for example, if this business had digital marketing and it was just through Facebook ads, that would be a risk because there's single source dependency on where the customers are coming from or the members are coming from. And if Facebook shuts down your ad account or they change their algorithm on how ads are presented to the different types of audiences that you're putting your ads in front of, that can change your cost per acquisition as well. So there's different risks within different businesses, but there's some of the risks that can be involved with that type of business, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then it was acquired 18 months ago, and then essentially scaled through those 18 months to sell for essentially double the price. So what did you guys see as, I guess you could say, the easy wins to kind of grow that over the 18 months and double the income? Because I guess you could say it's relatively quick in that time frame.
For the amount of work that was put in, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyle really had a young family, didn't want to spend any more than 5 hours a week on the business. And we, so what were some of the, what's some, I don't like quick wins, to be honest. I just, the quick wins can be good if you want to do a quick flip and then you have to go through like all the rigmarole of listing another site, listing it up for sale again, and then buying another one. And I'm not into flipping. That's not my philosophy. If you want quick wins, I'm not the person to come to for quick wins, and I don't really believe they're the best for the business. It's more about how do we set the business up for the long term. I'm way more long term focused. That's my philosophy in business and life, because it's less, personally for me, it's just less stressful. Also, when I believe when you set something up for the longer term, you're going to be able to sell it for a better price because it's going to have less risk, rather than like, let's find a business and just chuck us some quick wins on it and disregard all the risks that are involved. I like to decrease the risks. That can take a lot more time. Sometimes there can be some quick wins in decreasing risk, but usually it's a longer term game. If there's single source dependency on traffic, it's not a quick win to just decrease the risk by adding another source of traffic in. But when you do that, you add value to the business and it becomes more valuable. You can sell it for a higher multiple. So I'm not all about just quick wins. So for this one, we didn't find quick wins, and how we scaled it is we worked out what was the previous owner doing to get more people into the business, into the membership, and we just took their process, recreated it, and then turned that into a system. We tested it out a little bit. We poked some holes in it, so we ran that system ourselves a bit, or Kyle did. And then once we worked out it would bring in X amount of people per month, then we hired somebody to run that system for us. And that system basically was an outreach strategy to content creators to make affiliate commissions by promoting the membership. So most people will, come to buy a business and have this ideology of, I need to grow the business, so I'm just going to create a bunch of content and get some Google traffic, or start a YouTube channel or a podcast or all these things that people hear. This is how you can grow a business. Yeah, it is how you can grow a business, but is it the best way to grow a business? And is it going to be a waste of time, effort, and energy? In most cases, all these external strategies are. So what we do, and what I teach my high level coaching clients, so Kyle was doing one-on-one coaching with me, is I teach them like, how do we work out what was working in the business? Let's do more of what was working, make it better, and do less of what was not working. And that's how you grow a business from the inside out. I'm about inside out growth, organic growth that way. So that's how we did it.
Nice. On the affiliate commission thing, because I've done a bit of outreach myself, trying to get people to be affiliates for my own I guess digital products.
Yeah.
So my question would be, how did this membership site have any kind of like, did the name of the site have any search volume? So currently my site's, or one of my sites doesn't have a brand search volume for whatever it is, or the name of whatever my digital product is. So no affiliate that I outreach to can write a blah, blah, blah review. They would have to kind of maybe organically put it within articles that make sense and kind of build awareness that way. So with this, I guess, affiliate outreach, was it mainly through bloggers that maybe had like an email list or something they could kind of send it out to, or was there another strategy there?
Yeah, it was what we worked out for this particular business, and this won't be the same. Just remember, this won't be the same for all content sites or just one particular content site. It will be dependent on the niche and how people like to consume content in that niche. That's like, read between the lines of what I'm saying there, guys. Like, that's really important, how people like to consume the content and where. But for this niche, it was the best affiliates were YouTubers. Okay. So it was looking at YouTubers within that space, and so affiliate outreach is a funny one. When you hear about outreach, people are like, you need to do volume of outreach. That's what most people, I believe, have the perception of outreach. Cool, let's just find hundreds to thousands of people and do outreach. It's just a numbers game. I hate just a numbers game. It makes sense. Like it is just a numbers game, but also you're missing out on the real juice, the real value. And the real value of an affiliate partnership is the relationship, is the
Yeah.
partnership, building that, making it better. You can make far more money with less affiliates or less partners than a big old outreach and your relationship not lasting very long with them and having to recreate and do that again and again and again. So we found great affiliates, and the people that got good results is we just were like, how can we make you get even better results? How can we help you get better results? How can we help you? How can we help you win out of this? Because when you win first, we're going to win as well, and everybody wins. So we went deep. We go deep on relationships, and that's what I would say. Find the where the in the niche, find where the people are and how they like to consume the content in that niche. Then find the people that you want to partner with and just build awesome relationships. Offer them more money as an affiliate if they're doing good, like help them win. And that's the way we did it.
Is that the main thing, I guess, that you did to grow that site, or were there other things tacked onto that as well?
That's the main thing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to dive a little bit into, I guess, not just buying the websites, but selling websites as well. Obviously, you've been on the end of, I guess, vetting websites for buying. You're looking at not having a single source dependency on traffic. You're looking to minimize risks when buying, maybe it's not just through Facebook ads or whatever it is. From a seller's point of view, how can someone then prepare their website for sales so they can get maximum value from that?
It's a good question. First and foremost, what I said before is de-risk the business. Like that's the answer. That's the simple answer, is de-risk the business. You can do strategies and tactics like making the business a bit more slim. For example, go heavy on growth and put a lot of resources into it, and then decrease the amount of resources you put into the business per month over a period of time, whilst you want to get a better pricing period for the business, so the expenses aren't as high. You can do that. I think the best answer is just decreasing risk, and so people are going to be like, well, that's easy to say, and it is. It's easy for us to say, but what does that actually look like, Jaryd? Bloody hell, give us something to chew on. So a risk can look like single source dependency on traffic. If there's a site that has just a lot of Pinterest traffic, so like let's stick with content sites because niche sites. That's what this podcast is about. I saw a site the other day for sale, and most of its content or traffic, is coming from Pinterest. Pinterest hadn't been going so well. Pinterest is a search engine, but the intent of the traffic coming from Pinterest is not as good as the intent of the traffic coming from Google. What does intent mean? Well, when people click on an image in Pinterest, they want to go away and sort of see more images like that on the page. They're probably not interested in like how-to of create that thing as much as, because they get stopped. It's like it's a bit of interruption as they're going through Pinterest and looking at things, and they get stopped and they find something. But the intent of the traffic on Google is like people are actually typing into Google, how do I do X? And then they're going to be on the page longer once they go to the site. They're going to be on the page longer. It's going to increase time on page, bounce rate, better for the SEO. Whereas Pinterest traffic, I don't feel is as valuable. It's going to be dependent on the niche and the site, of course. But so that one site had, as an example, they had single source dependency of Pinterest traffic and very little organic search traffic. How you could set that site up for a better valuation and to be able to sell it is decrease risk by creating more content for search traffic in terms of Google and Bing, Yahoo, that sort of stuff. See, it's a longer term play. It's not just change some things on the site and make it look a bit better. There are some cool things that you can do like that. But for me and my philosophy and what I like to teach is I like to teach people to buy a better site, because it makes your life easier.
Would
You
you
can
ever,
buy
would,
something that needs quick wins.
yeah,
And
would you ever buy like a site like, say, like the one you mentioned that's mainly Pinterest traffic, knowing that, hey, maybe you're going to spend some time growing the organic side?
personally, no.
No, okay. Just because the risk is too high in
I
your
wouldn't say
eyes.
never. I wouldn't say never. But
Yeah.
at the time that I'm in now, I'd rather just buy something that is solid
Mm.
and less. Like, my goal isn't more money, and I'm in a different position than a lot of people. My goal is less stress. So I have a different goal I'm shooting for in my life than a lot of people. Like, most people in the space are here like, I just want to make money online, and like, I get it. I've been there, but yeah, once I think even in that space of I want to make money online and trying to get through the survival phase of replacing the income, the goal is still less stress, because you're in a job you don't like, which can be stressful, and you're trying to make money online, which can be stressful. But once you get to that point, you do replace it. I think the goalpost is less stress, but the vehicle is let's make money online. And sometimes people get too focused on the vehicle,
Mm.
and like the money is like the answer. The money, I don't believe, is the answer. If you can have a great life and make 4 grand, 5 grand a month, and cover your expenses in a developed country. So personally, I wouldn't say never, but I like to teach people to buy better sites because it's going to make their life easier. For example, you could buy something that has Pinterest traffic, just Pinterest traffic. It needs Google search traffic. And if you've got a job, like a day job, then your life just gets harder because you're buying another job of like trying to create
Yeah,
search
trying
traffic
to, yeah, grow the, exactly.
so you
Yeah.
actually miss the point of like a less stressful life. So yeah, it's easy for people to get bought into like so many different stories and scenarios about the make money online space, but I just don't. Yeah, I like to get people to really think and check themselves.
Mm.
Yeah, because it's less. You can be a billionaire, you can be a millionaire, and make so much money and just have a stressful life because you've been bought into the ideology. I need to make 100 grand a month to have a 7-figure business. I need to make, you know, a million a month to have an 8-figure business. Like what? Like why? You know?
Yeah. It's better deep soul searching there.
Yeah, I'm more about like, dude, seriously, that's soul alignment is my priority at the moment. More
Oh, that's
joy,
awesome.
and that's how you get more soul alignment. Yeah,
So
you need time for that stuff.
how have you managed then to, I guess, kind of decouple yourself from having to go all in on these different online businesses, make more money, and kind of back off a little bit where you've got more time to do what you like and things like that? So I'm sure that's a question so many people have already as well.
Oh
Because
yeah.
even I'm deep in this, working on it all the time, just trying to make sure, obviously I mentioned we're moving overseas soon. I
Mm,
mean, I gotta make enough money to be able to support ourselves over there.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like it's full on. So how have you managed to kind of decouple yourself from that?
I went through some crap. Like I actually, my life got really, really hard. Like, for example, my friends are like, dude, you're crazy. You're just like, I used to wake up at 4:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, used to drive to work, start work at 5:30, six in the dark, cold. I'd work a 12-hour day, drive home an hour and a half home. I'd get home, quickly eat food, and then I'd stay on the computer till like 10, 11 o'clock at night, wake up at 4 a.m. again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, ridiculous. Like, I had the energy for it. Right now, I would not have the energy for that. But I went through some. I was so damn hungry to not have to do the life that I had, and I think like I had to get out of the survival phase, and
Hmm.
that is the hardest part, is getting out of the survival phase, and yeah, being like pretty relentless. Like, it's, you can see me now. I'm pretty chilled, relaxed dude, but I was so damn driven. Like, um, you have to recreate. I think you have to recreate yourself at different times in the journey, because
Yeah.
if, for example, if you don't recreate yourself after you get out of the survival phase, you're still, because you're making money but you don't need to work, and if you don't recreate yourself, you're still in the super hard hustle, hard driven
Mm.
mode, and you miss out on life when you don't actually need to be in the super hard hustle mode. So I think, yeah, that's not answering the question. The answer to the question is, you got to want it bad enough. And you've got to put like a few things in place, like the manifesting correctly, not manifesting out of fear. Most people manifest like, I want to make $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month online, and they're manifesting because like, I need to get out of survival phase, rather
Mm.
than manifesting it of, no, I'm confident that if I just stay this path for a couple of years, I'll get to $2,000 a month, and that's how my life is going to be. Can you see the difference in those two
Mm.
scenarios? Most people are like fear based rather than like, this is how it's going to be, because they've stuck to a longer term. And the 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 biggest failure, I think, one of the overarching failures that most people make is like, it needs to happen now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
We all go through that.
I have like, I've in 1 year's time, I need to be at X amount of money per month.
I think that's me every day.
Sorry.
I think that's me every day.
Yeah, which is, I was there. Like
Yeah.
I wish I was. I wish I could say I wasn't, but it stuffs you up, because if you don't get there, then what happens is you've got this energy tank of like drive, and when you don't get there, your drive decreases, because you're like, I didn't hit my goal,
Mm.
and your drive decreases every time because you set your goalposts too close together. And the reality is, if like that we do that enough, and our drive tank or our energy tank, ambition tank, whatever you want to call it, gets to like zero, because we're constantly not hitting our goals, we just go, we give up. And after like 1 or 2 years, we give up. But you actually end up achieving, you you know, we overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year and underestimate what we can achieve in 3 years,
Mm.
or 5 or 10 years. So like, I think if people actually want to recreate their life, like, you need to give it 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's
Yeah.
got to be longer term, eh? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
even if you start a new site anyway, you're going to spend 9 months to a year Google sandboxed, getting no traffic anyway.
Yeah. 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 Like, if you actually, I think for the people that are super driven and will ride the bumps, like the heart, like I've nearly like just blew up this Bob business before by being in a stupid place of single source dependency on Facebook ads and stuff like that. Um, yeah, like if I didn't have the drive to ride the bumps over like a long period of time, then I wouldn't have it anymore. I'd just give up. And I think, yeah, if you want to recreate life like completely, if you're in a normal day job, you need to just give yourself the chance of 10 years. But people are like, well, no, I've seen all these case studies of Kyle made
Mm.
150K, like flipping this site in 18 months. I can do that. Well, hang on, Kyle's at a very different stage of life than you, or maybe at a very different stage of life than you. And he may have done so much more prep work before you. Don't If people set their goalposts based off like some of our case studies,
Oh
they're
yeah.
done. You know, it's just not, and growth isn't linear, unfortunately. Like, we'd like to consciously understand that it is linear, but it's just not. Like, you can be like, you see those like images of like the entrepreneurial journey, and it's just like a freaking
Yeah.
mess
The
on the
scribble.
page. Yeah. Like, it's what it's like, unfortunately. So yeah, if you can't give yourself 10 years, don't bother, I believe.
That's some good
And even if it's
advice.
only 10 years, like if you're going to live 70, 80, 90, 100 years or more, 10 years to change your whole life moving forwards
Mm.
is like, that is worth it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that mindset shift is probably enough to kind of get people through, again, as you mentioned, those bumps, those small bumps along the way in those long term journeys. Because hey, maybe this month, or I got hit by this Google update, whatever it is. This is only a short few months within
Yeah.
however long.
Oh, it's a like, You look back at that. I remember I got scammed on one of my businesses like 25, 30 grand. And it was back
Ooh.
in like 2016. And I was just like, this is like the worst thing that will ever happen to me in business. Looking back at that as like, now I'm like, oh, that's like, it's not that severe. It was just like, it was just a part of it. Yeah. So, yeah, if you think about like when you give yourself more space and more time just in your life personally, how good is life? If you just go, I'm going to have a week off, like life's good. It's easy. You're still in that week off, you're still going to feed yourself and survive and cook food and clean and do the things that need to be done because you give yourself a week. It's done with more joy. It's easier to be done. It's the same with the timeline of trying to any goal. Give yourself more time and you can do it with like less fear. And I guess that comes back to the manifestation thing of like, if you're manifesting based on fear, like it's harder to get rather than manifesting based on like deep seated knowing I'm going to get this. And if you give yourself 10 years or more, people are like, in 10 years, of course I'm going to do it. But if I try to do it in 5 or like try to do it in like 1 to 3 years, it's like I'm doing it with all the fear and trying to make it work. And when you do things based on fear, what happens? You make mistakes, you get stressed out, you don't achieve your goals anyway. It's like,
We'll probably definitely come back to a lot of this mindset stuff throughout this podcast anyway. But I wanted to also circle back a bit to preparing the websites for selling. So you mentioned obviously de-risking. One of the ways to de-risk would be finding other traffic sources. But you also mentioned there's some things that you can do on the actual website too. Do you want to maybe dive a little bit into that?
yeah, it depends on the site. If we're going to stick with like niche sites, because most
Yeah,
people
let's stick
are
with that for
listening,
now.
yeah. Uh, does the site have any EAT? And if not, build some because that's going to be more attractive to a buyer. Like, you really need to put yourself in the shoes of the buyer. Um, if you, what's the goal? I think we should think about the question of like, what's the goal in terms of the sale? Do we want to make more money, or do we want to just get rid of it real quickly without having to do too much work? If it's more money, then you'll put a longer term strategy into it, which is EAT and adding another traffic source to it, building an email list. There's some good things that you can do to set it up for sale. They're longer term strategies. In terms of the shorter term strategies, you can change the user experience on the site. You can make the content better for, say, the top 5 to 10 posts. Increase, stuff like Adam and Mark talk about increasing, the size of the fonts and type of contents and stuff like that. Ad placements, if it's ads, doing some ad placements, changing them around and testing them around depending on the ad partner that you're working with. And then you can do some CRO for affiliate links as well, conversion rate optimization and testing, the different placements of affiliate links and different copy for affiliate links on and start with your top pages as well, the top 5 pages, maybe top 10 pages. There's some things you can do on the site.
What would you ever then say I'm looking to sell a site in 6 months and I have that whole list of things, would you ever just not do a bunch of them to kind of give the seller room to move when they buy it and be like, hey, when you buy it, you can do these things and you can increase the revenue and then automatically up the valuation of the site?
Yeah, you always want to leave room on the table for sure. And I think no matter how much you do, there's always going to be room on the table. So I wouldn't stress about that because you could just go and do the EAT. You could, you, like all the things I just mentioned, changing the stuff with CRO, ad placements, adding email list and another traffic source, and then somebody else buys it and goes, oh, cool. Well, you've got 2 traffic sources. I might add 3. Or I'll have somebody create a YouTube channel, or we will expand into another category of content and get more search traffic from that. There's always room on the table. But personally, as a buyer, I'd prefer them like not much room on the table, which is a weird thing to think about. right? Because like if you're going to buy a business, don't you really want to put a lot of time and energy into growing it? For me, I'm like, not really. Like I just want to get a return and a safe way to get a return, right? I don't flip property, right? Physical property. I buy investment property and just leave it there. Let it plonk of land just be there and get a return. Just because I don't care for, I think I've said this before, I don't care for like put more work on my plate and make more money. Like, no, thank you.
No, that's fair enough then. So essentially, you're just looking for something that's established, making money, good branding, essentially, because that obviously that's less risk as well. And you're looking to basically, you're not even looking to build it massively. You're just kind of looking to build on what it already has to eventually flip years down the line,
Yeah.
with little
Yeah.
work you put in.
Yeah. For example, you buy a site that's got like 300 great posts, and they've tapped into the niche and the categories really well. Is there like another category that you can put in like 100 posts that are awesome, and you just hire niche website builders to do it? Like that's great because it's like I don't have to do the work and I'm
Yeah.
paying to get a return in the long term. That's what excites me. Yeah, and if there's room on the table for that sort of stuff, cool. You know, buy a bunch of domains from them and you know from you guys and chuck them, you know, redirect them in and you know start out another category of content around that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
for
It's less
sure.
work.
Exactly. I just wanted to cover about still on, I guess, growing the revenue of websites. And you talked about, it was actually a recent podcast of yours talking about, it was directed towards e-commerce, but it also relates to niche website builders, I guess, who are selling their own digital products as well. And it kind of hit me personally as well, having a bunch of products and wanting to create more. Geez, that's just, I don't know. It's like a thing, wanting to create more, create more products, thinking, hey, if I just do more products, it means I have more things to sell and I can make more money. But
Yeah.
obviously, you mentioned within the podcast, that's not always the case. So maybe do you want to dive into a bit of detail? Maybe if someone's got a few products on their digital products on their niche website, how they can go about increasing the revenue of that, and maybe, I guess you could say, your warnings against maybe building a whole lot of digital products.
Yeah, yeah, this is such a good topic, and a great question, man. Like, I'm so glad you brought it up. People come to me with e-commerce business and they want to buy it, and it's got like, I don't know, how many products, 50, 100 products. And I ask, in the due diligence framework, what would be some of the things you could do to grow the business? And it's usually always like add more products, but it just doesn't. Adding more products doesn't equal more money. It equals more time, uh, more money in buying those products. If it's a digital product, it means more time in creating those
Yeah,
products,
exactly.
and then a funnel and marketing those products and trying to sell those products. But say, for example, if you've got a niche website and it's in a particular niche on fishing, and you talk about all things fishing on your site, and then you got 10 digital products that can be like mini courses or ebooks or whatever it is on how to fish for bass, cod, mackerel, whatever it
Yep.
is. And you've got each of those, and say you've got 10 there, people will go, cool, I've got 10 ebooks, and from those ebooks I'm making $500 a month. So if I make another 10 ebooks,
It's another 500.
that's another $500. But no, that's not the case, because maybe it's going to equal more work, really. So, for example, each of those ebooks, say you've got five, you've got 10 ebooks and you've got five that make no money. Then there's five, so you could just scrap out those and not. I would push less content to those, right? I'd have them in less call to actions. I wouldn't promote them as heavily on the site or through my email list. Then you got five, right? And there's $500 split between the five. One of those may make $350, right? And I don't know about my math here, but maybe it's $50 for each of the other ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or spread between each of the other ones. But there's one that makes $350. What do you think if you wanted to make more money? This is what I teach people: is like, do more of what's working and less of what's not working. Scrap the 5 books that aren't, making much money. Then you've got 5 that are. I would go all in on giving what people want, giving people what they want. You can clearly see that this one book on how to fish for cod. People want that book more than any other book that you've got, and it makes more money. Promote the crap out of that book, and you have less work because you're scrapping the other books. You don't need to delete them and not have them for sale, but you're just focusing on promoting the thing that people want. And people are telling you, the market is saying, James, this book is the book that you need to scale to the moon because people want to buy it. So promote it everywhere over all these other books that are taking up space of where you could put this cod book, fishing for cod book, and make more money from doing so. So I think less is more once you know what to focus on, and it's just about how to identify the data within your business and at least knowing how to read the data and find the data as well. And then instead of creating, and if you like, I just want to do more work and build more products anyway because I like it, well then build more products around cod fishing.
I was about to ask you
Like,
that.
have the category, just go all in on the category of cod fishing and promote the crap out of that book. And then once you've got a book and you go, okay, cool, these guys are loving this book, maybe you change the book or change the course a little bit based on some data and then research that maybe you've done yourself or is out there in the market around the best lures or the best baits for codfish, and then sell it to them as an affiliate. Or have that lure created yourself or whatever it is, and then sell that as a physical product. That's a lot more work. I wouldn't do that personally, but you can see all you need to do is lean into what's working. It's like cod fishing is the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think is far more valuable than like just more work, more digital products, more content for the sake of more content. It's like, no, what's working? Let's lean into that. Was that the
Yeah.
answer?
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
then I'd assume in terms of increasing average order value of that, it would be what you mentioned there, creating more products around that product. So bump offers, upsells,
Correct.
whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yes, exactly. So, for example, so AOV, average order value, this is for e-commerce. So e-commerce is digital products as well. And that's, instead of just trying to sell more products of more books, is lean into upsells, downsells, order bumps and stuff like that. So this cod, maybe you have a cod book and the book is $17. And then you go, because you bought the cod book as an upsell, why not upgrade to the course for $120 or whatever it cost? But the course may actually cost $240, but they get it 50% off because they bought the book. The offer has to be a no-brainer. It has to be really good that people are like, wow, I'm going to save $120. I'm going to get the book and I'm going to get this thing that's 50% off and it's only $120. Like you putting the right product in front of the people. They've just bought a cod book. They're pretty interested in learning more about how to, fish for cod. And then you give them an awesome deal around how to become an even better cod fisher, woman, right? So it's like you're putting the right thing in front of the right people at the right time. The right timing of them already got their credit card out. Just add this thing on. Like it's, and then it could be if they don't buy the book, they don't buy the course, you're like, okay, cool. Then you can downsell, like, well, how about this fishing lure? Or how about this training that, some famous fisherman or fisherwoman did.
Do you have like a recommendation of software that you like to use to build these funnels that allows you to do upsells, downsells, etc.? Or
Yeah,
is it, yeah.
yeah, I do. Um, the best one is the easiest one for you to understand and use.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So good. Any of the software then that anyone likes to use.
Look, it depends on how much you can afford and spend and the features and stuff that you want. There's things like ClickFunnels. There's things like Thrivecart. Um, I'm an affiliate of, because I know the guy who started 10xpro.io, which is similar to ClickFunnels. There's different like shopping carts, and I would Google it. Um, but some people may be on a budget. For example, if you got, not every product is the same for everybody depending on where they're at in their journey. So if a content site is making $1,000 or $3,000 a month, um, and they're trying to add in some product sales and they're making like $100 to $200, on these product sales, and then they go away and spend $100 a month on, a funnel software, um, it may not actually be the most viable thing unless they can invest that amount up front. Maybe there are some things like within WordPress and Woo, like within WooCommerce, there may be some things like have a look at that, depending on where each person is at. Like I feel it's for me to give the type of advice of what funnel to use, um, is not the most evergreen and valuable content, because when somebody listens to this in a year's time, there may be something that supersedes it. So I try not to get too much into the tactical stuff, if I'm
No,
honest.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I also wanted to dive into a little bit about email marketing as well. I mean, I guess most niche site builders, they might not have an email list just because they earn purely off ads and maybe some affiliate, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, I guess, in the space too that are kind of building, I guess you could say, their own businesses in terms of selling digital products, along with that thing kind of, I guess you could say, de-risking then having a third income source.
Yeah.
So I guess, do you have any tips then regarding lead magnets, opt-in pages for people to collect the emails, and then maybe just some general tips for marketing through email to make sales? Are there things, I guess, are there tips and tricks that people can use, or maybe
Yeah.
something more long term?
Yeah. I love email marketing. And some good questions, James. So the hardest thing is getting it done for what I find, for people that I work with, is just getting it done. So don't make it too hard for yourself is the first thing I would say. And then once you've prepared, like, I'm going to do this email thing, is have it somewhere on your homepage, like an opt-in on your homepage. Actually, before we even get to that, the biggest tip is working out what people in your niche really want, working out what their big problem is, and then giving them a solution that is like, I can't not get this, because it's free and it's so good. I'll give you an example. My due diligence framework. People that want to buy a business, they get my framework that I use and my clients use, and they get it for free. And they want that because they're looking at buying a business. It's like ridiculous. It'd be so stupid for them not to get it. For example, in the fishing niche, if you're talking about cod fishing, or if you are just talking about fishing in general, and you work out, oh, these people love cod fishing, then create a free resource around cod fishing, because most people there are coming for the cod fishing. So you're working out what people really, really want. That's the main lead magnet. Oh, just get on my newsletter and let me send you a bunch of email marketing stuff. Nobody cares about that, right? Like this. That's I don't. You the Yeah. That's just sounds like a nightmare to most people.
Yeah.
And also you can do some pretty cool little, marketing tricks, like, get my cod resource, for free. It's helped, people catch 7,500 cod in the last 12 months. P.S. Yes, you'll get even more emails on how to catch more fish. But if you don't like my emails and you think they're crap, just grab the book and then unsubscribe, right? People can be like, well, why would I tell people to unsubscribe? Well, firstly, if their book, if the book is really good, they get it, they unsubscribe, and the book's good, they're gonna be like, this is good. Like, let's get back on this guy's list or this person's list. You've built your brand through a really good thing already. Plus, most people aren't going to unsubscribe because, it takes effort to scroll to the bottom of the email and hit unsubscribe. So you're going to build your email list anyway. The hard part is getting them on the list. So yeah, there's some pretty cool things that you could do with that. I would have it in terms of placement somewhere on the homepage, somewhere on each piece of content, on each post. It could be within each post, or it could be at the bottom of each post. It could be on the sidebar. It could be a pop-up. But you have to think about what's the user experience that you want to create on your site or have on your site. So there's some ideologies around it. And then when they get on your list, build some brand awareness with them, build a relationship with them. That's, making sales through your email list is the wrong way to think about it. You don't make money through your email list. How you make money is through trust and relationships. And that's what the email list is there for, is building trust and relationships. The sales is a byproduct of it. So think about that first and foremost when people come on your list, is like, how do I just be a freaking awesome brand and just serve these guys with awesome content and build a great relationship and have them trust us enough to, when they find a book that may be about fishing for mackerel, they're like, yes, I need this.
So does that mean, do you set up a welcome sequence, and then within that welcome sequence, if you do set one up, then does that mean you're not pitching any products? It's mainly just, about the person running the site, about the website, their philosophy on whatever it is?
Correct. Is like just introducing yourself, like, hey, we are all about fishing, and, we, know a bit more about who you are and your brand. I say funny things about like what's in my room and, stupid stuff that I do. So they're like, oh, this person's a real human. They're a real brand. They're actually like, not just like a robot brand that has no personality to it. So bring some personality into it. Also set some expectations when people join your list. Is like, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get awesomeness from me in the form of one video a week, one article a week, and then I'm going to test lures. And when the lures are good, I'm going to tell you which one to buy and which one not to buy, so you can save money and time and catch more fish. That's what you're here for, right? And just that sort of stuff. Like, just be a good human and tell them, like, you're going to be on this list and you're going to love it, because here's what you're going to get, which is setting their expectations. So they don't get on a list and we're like, oh my God, this person's sending me an email like every day.
Yeah.
And they don't like it.
So how often then are you emailing a list, I guess, to keep it fresh, I guess, per se?
Well, this is a good question. I've done some courses on email marketing, and people say email as much as you possibly can. Like once a day.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Yeah. And so the more that you think about it like this, the relationship is the goal. The depth in the relationship is the goal. If I make a friend, right? Say, for example, we just talked about a friend that we connected, that connected us, that I met at the skate park, right? Of all places.
Yeah, shout out to Owen.
Yeah, Owen. Good on you, man. Yeah. Who, like, now I surf with, skate with, and have business chats with, right? And say I want to build a relationship with Owen. If I see Owen 3 times a year, how good is our relationship going to be compared to if I see Owen once a week or twice a month, right? 26 times to 52 times a year versus 3 times a year. Better relationship, right? I'm going to trust him a lot more. He's going to trust me a lot more. Now, for example, when you send out emails, if you send out one a month, cool. But what if you were to send out one a week? Your relationship, you're building a relationship with people. They're hearing from you more often. the depth of relationship happens a lot quicker. And when that happens a lot quicker, and when you have the right products, then they're a lot closer to going away, either buying those products or at least going and reading more of your content. So that's what I think as well. And people are like, yeah, but people will unsubscribe. I'm like, good. Please, if you're on my email list right now, if you're on the Buying Online Businesses email list and you don't open the emails, please unsubscribe for me. Like, I actually want that. The reason being is because my email deliverability is going to be that much better. So if people don't like my emails, good. Get off the list. And if you do, good. That means my list is that much more valuable. For example, if people want to sponsor my content, stuff like that, like maybe you don't have the biggest amount of volume. Like, I don't care, because the people are on it, they're going to buy shit. They're going to buy stuff. Excuse my language. They're going to buy things because they're like, I want this. I'm here for it. That's why I'm copying an email every day. I'm waiting for the thing.
So then you do recommend as much as possible, essentially, to build that relationship, or are you still saying once a week is?
So the recommendation is, if you have infinite resources or infinite time, do it. But you got to realize there's human beings that run these businesses, and if it's a roadblock of you being able to send one email every single week, and it feels hard for you, you're not going to do it. And when you don't do it, you're going to feel worse about your business. So the mindset comes first. So if you go, I can't do one a week because it's too stressful, I got too much going on and I have another day job, and it makes it feel a bit lighter and a bit easier, and you go, well, maybe I'll do 2 a month. That makes me feel better. You're more likely to do it. You're more likely to send those emails. So do it as much as you can without setting the bar so high that you don't do it and you feel bad about your business.
Yep,
That's
that makes sense.
That's what my suggestion would be. And
How
if you have the resources to do it one a day, then great.
How would you then say, for example, you have the fishing blog and you're trying to send out maybe 2-3 emails a week? How do you come up with the content for 2 or 3 emails a week? I mean, I guess maybe you could send a new article or an old article you have, but maybe outside that, how else are you filling these emails?
It's a good question. So it can be anything. It really can be. So for example, if you're as a content site, you're putting out 1 article per week. That's it, and you're not putting out anything else, and then you want to send out 3 emails. Is that your
let's just say maybe you're doing 1 article a week, so that's the only one you can send.
Yeah.
And then you've maybe got 2 other ones you have to fill.
What I would do is you could be like, what's your top post, your top 5, 10 posts, 5 posts, top 10 posts, and then go away and read them, and then take a story that if you're fishing and you go, if you're fishing and you go fishing every weekend, you're going to have at least 1 to 2 fishing stories that you can send out. Send one of those out and turn it into a lesson. If you watch or listen to a podcast on fishing and somebody says a story that you're like, this person has no idea about fishing. They told us to use this bait in this condition of weather. I disagree with this. I actually recommend this based on the proof and the data, and you can just create an email around that.
All right, we're having some camera difficulties, but we're going to finish off. So carry on, Jaryd.
Yeah. So I would say, based on that, is there's so many ideas that you can draw from on fishing experiences that you've had, fishing experiences that somebody else has had, your content, that's new content, old content, and lessons that you've learned. You can draw inspiration from anything. For example, I'll come in and my surfboard will smash me in my face when I'm surfing and cut my face up, and I'll get stitches. And I'll tell people about it. Like, I treat my email list like Instagram.
Okay.
And people love it. People always email and be like, Jaryd, your emails are real good. Like, I put GIFs in them, images. I make it fun. Like, I tell people about my life because of the branding that comes from it. And I am vulnerable in them because that's where trust and relationships are built, through vulnerability. Yeah, so just get very creative with it.
I'm going to start doing that, I think. Treat your email list like Instagram. Yeah, that will make it much easier to get out multiple emails a week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you do Instagram a lot and you do something one a day or 3 times a week on Instagram, it's like, why not just put the same thing? Like if I actually I might even do this now. I might actually just get Lynn to take my emails and put them on Instagram. I just, sorry, Lynn's one in our team. She's awesome. But yeah, like just take it and repurpose the content. Like take your Instagram stuff and put it on your email.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Well, I think it's been over now that we've had a few restarts with the old camera problem. But
Sorry about that.
No, that's all good. But maybe to finish off, do you want to maybe let the listeners know where they can find you and follow you?
Yeah, sure. Buyingonlinebusinesses.com. So buyingonlinebusinesses.com, so plural. And then, yeah, that's probably the best way to find me. I do have an Instagram. We don't do much with it, but it's Jaryd Krause. And then you can just type my name into YouTube, Jaryd Krause, Facebook, Instagram, Google, wherever.
Everywhere.
You should be able to find some of my stuff, yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on, Jaryd. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, James. I really appreciate the chat. It was some great questions.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening. Until the next episode, goodbye.